It's a lot of things. Feelings are a lot of things for teenagers, man. And feelings and sound are like kind of not the same. But if you can be part of that, it's like.
This podcast is new, and my love for podcasts is new rin. If you are a returning listener, hello again, and I invite you to like, share, and comment and chat here in the comment section whenever you can because this is a small thing that you can do to help me. This is a grow this podcast big time. This is a small thing you can do to help me grow the podcast by a lot. If you are a new listener, hey, my name is Rez. This is my show, the Rezbt-S Podcast. Rezbt-S Podcast. I'm currently doing 40 episodes of what I call the Monologic series. So sit back at mag-relax and listen to this podcast wherever podcasts are available. I produce long-form video and audio twice a week now. So dalawa. Every week, dalawa. And these premiere here on Someday Edition sa Elila, stream every Thursday and Sunday nights. Nga pala, it's also available on Spotify and YouTube. If you agree or are entertained or are excited by anything you find here on this podcast, please do not hesitate to interact with me or the community around this podcast. I hope you love going deep with words, doing free expression, and are curious also about the base Tagalog theory of everything. So, wala nang paligoy-ligoy pa. This is RSP number 75. Tara!
Three, two, one. Hey, check 1, 2. Welcome to the Rezbt-S Podcast. My name is Rez Toledo, and I am welcoming you. I keep on saying that, diba? Parang jaw, ang tawag pala sa mga ganun jaw, parang jaw speech, jaw lines. Jaw sort of means like talking from the jaw, yung like pagsasalita na ano lang, puro ganun lang. Um, it's weird. It's weird. I'm getting used to it, and I hope you're getting used to you listening to me saying my name all over again. I want to welcome you to the show. It's gonna be the same monologuing style, and I want to get right down to it. Of course, without much ligoy again. We are on ECQ here in Metro Manila. Wow, a year after finding out. Now, I'm not gonna complain about it. I'm sure what I am gonna do is, diba? I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna, diba? I'm not gonna battle it out because it's out of design. Ganyan yung mga nangyayari sa. I'm not also gonna sort of put down the keywords kasi marami nang matalino diba? Marami nang maalam, marami nang woke sa mundo, especially sa Pilipinas, mga Filipino. So I'm not gonna, hindi na ako sasali. If you want that, you could just uh, go on any feed or by now when this podcast comes out, baka ano na tayo, what's the word? Assimilated or acclimated na naman tayo sa this new invention that is called the pandemic lockdown, which is really sort of like, kung nakatira ka sa studio, nakita nyo naman yung mga picture ng mga iba-ibang kung sino-sinong politiko din na nakatira rin sa studio at capitalistic theater lang naman din ng trabaho. And not thinking of, all these guys, people in these jobs, I'm not siding with anything here. It's really social engineering. That is the main sort of crux that I have no comment on. It's one of my favorite things to analyze and talk about. A lot of us, see social engineering as just a fact factor of being alive or just being part of a society. And wala naman, I mean, ever since last year kasi, alam naman na natin na those who aren't really affected by this kind of global pandemic are those who are living in sort of bubbles, nice bubbles, good enough bubbles. Um, on my own, I kind of consider my recording environment as my own bubble, literal bubble, because ang alam ko, ang pagkakagawa ng studio na to is like there's plastic pa inside the walls, so there's double walls to keep the sound out and keep sound in. So if sound is yung usapan, most likely air also. That's the philosophy around, having literal bubbles. So paano mo ba magagamit to? What is the point of you listening? Hindi naman kita iniinggit. It's just really, I think, yung bali ko dun is like, power of the mind. I think power of the mind yung pinaka-importanting gusto ko sigurong pag-usapan na panimula is because once you are strong enough, if you have mental strength to sort of wrap your own reality in your own head, meron din yung parang strengthening kind of like benefits, especially if you are acclimated. So if you're acclimated to your own, for example, content process, work process, if you have your loops in, if you have your kind of, it feels rewarding to know what to do despite this, despite that. I'm not trying to be vague here, but I'm just trying to be mature about stuff, because sometimes um, I do complain, I do want to get triggered and use my thumbs, but then at the end of the day, I don't want to be like genius epis class when I could talk about it, I could express it in the camera, and like there's 200 of you listening. So like for example, the last time I interviewed a professional art actor, parang the preparation leading into the podcast went like this. So like he asked me, "What do you want? Do you want me to start profound? Do you want me to be ano? Ganito ganyan." So immediately it's posing a question of a director, diba? So ano bang direction natin dito, boss? And then so before the test interview happened, that play kind of vibe thing, I noticed that may galawan na diba? So we were moving things around the table, we were standing up in may preparation kasi di naman sa crammed, But then before the interview, of course, knowing this person is a professional, naalala ko, lagi ko iniisip lagi, okay, this is, I really admire that kind of professionality, in terms of gestures, in terms of galawan. So, sabi ko, hindi, pasingaw ka na lang muna, Kicks. We haven't seen each other in diba, 2 or a year after the pandemic, mga 8 months ganyan. So yun, we ended up talking about that in the beginning of the podcast. Yun na muna yung pinag-usapan, mga pandemya stuff, mga kind of but then immediately it went to other artistic stuff. So you can find this sort of mental tenacity a lot with a lot of artists, a lot of martial artists, a lot of professionals in the game. Mental tenacity talaga kasi wala namang ginagawa yung mga taong ganito kundi mga ulit-ulit na trabaho, diba? So like ako, pang ilang podcast ko na to, medyo nasasanay na ako. Alam ko na yung mga meters ko, alam ko na yung mga dapat di ko ginagawa. Alam ko na naririnig tong mga kusot-kusot ng damit, pati kung ano yung gusto ng mga tao or something, or what drives the attention, of it. But at the same time, I know what works for me, what's fun for me, and then what's so lang, and like, yun lang naman yung mga kailangan. And bukod sa yung misconceptions, lagi ko iniisip yung misconceptions like wala raw oras yung mga tao makinig. Syempre, kung kunyari ikaw kaibigan na kita, especially for example, magkatrabaho tayo before, we went on some gig or we went to some tour together or like, mas mataas yung ano mo eh. Kasi kilala mo ako eh. Mas mataas yung, or sabi mo, or feeling mo, kahit naman feeling lang eh, diba? Mas kilala mo ako, mas mataas yung, mas natural sa'yo na nakikinig lang or just keep me on the background, sort of inom ka konti, yosi ka konti, kind of thing. Oh, it's Rez, right? It's Rez. It's just Rez, diba? A normal part of our sort of listenership. Hopefully. Ganyan yung mga panaginip ko dati. I get reminded because I don't understand a lot of things on my own, diba? So sometimes I rely on my dreams to process things, my thoughts, para malaman ko, ito yung iniisip ko. Parang, ano ba? Minsan, alam mo, hindi mo naintindihan yung iniisip mo, magpigil ka muna, wag mo muna masyadong reklamo, wag mo muna masyadong i-drama. Unless meron kang pinagkakakitaan na drama, edi kailangan mo yun, diba? Parang kailangan mong matrigger into feeling creative about how you script your narrative around your life. How you script yourself into a new cultural narrative. Is it the base Tagalog? Is it Bisaya? Is it, I don't know, is it like are you entering into a cultural politics kind of wave na parang you have to be politically correct or politically sort of aware to be funny, to be ganyan. Alam mo yun? And that comes to my mind, parang inisip ko, kailangan ba nakakatawa ako lagi or kailangan bang sobrang walang setup yung pagpapatawa ko, diba? Alam mo yun, kailangan bang, or because I wanna be relevant, diba? I can feel how you guys feel. I can feel that the struggle of not having a channel, the struggle of not just being part of a small community that like sends notes kind of thing. Nakita nyo na yung meme na yun, yung parang pasa high school stuff lang. Not that I'm complaining about it. I'm just quite also affected by that thing, na ganoon lang naman yung ginagawa natin ngayon. Di masyadong, but, well, natin in general as like a society or something. But ako, I'm really getting used to the extreme learning kind of vibe. Extreme meaning, of course, trying to make a successful podcast of my own. I do listen to a lot of podcasts out there and iniisip ko, hindi naman sa gusto kong makuha yung viewership nila or anything or magawa yung ginagawa nila. It's just the freedom, diba? Inaaral ko yung freedom, how they talk about things, how they look about, what things don't they do, madali lang naman sa kalbo yung hindi magkusot ng buhok kasi wala namang kukusutin na buhok. And it's like 5 out of 10 podcasters these days wala naman talagang buhok or like super short hair. But sa akin, I can't help it. I'm just alone with a mirror with some lights. Gotta admit, there's part of it na, I'm part of the audience who looks at me to talk about these things. And I do admit, diba, parang part of the creation process of this is I do listen to myself a lot. I listen to myself talaga. I listen to myself in full because yung full thought is like a full feeling and like a full yesterday, diba? Of this thing. And ito yung mga maliit na bagay na baka hindi nyo pa naintindihan pero naintindihan ko na sa pagpa-podcast. Mga maliliit na bagay na sobrang cool, sobrang, it's like I'm discovering this on a whim. And then it's making me feel better. It's making me feel like I'm doing something important, and I do wanna create something important for you guys because it's not like there's a lot of trustworthy content creators out there. I know for a fact that mostly, like nasanay naman tayo sa hindi naman long format, hindi naman educational, diba? Parang nasanay tayo hindi naman sa Yung content ba na sobrang obvious, sobrang distasteful, tapos since yun lang yung available sa'yo, edi parang chichirya, diba? Parang chichirya na kunyari, puro junk food lang yung pagkain nyo. Edi yun lang yung available, doon ka na masasanay. Yung tastes mo are affected by that over the years of, because I come from a household, actually ngayon na lang ako kumakain ng mga junk food ngayong 30 na ako. From around 15 years old to around 27, 28, uh, malimit na wala akong nakikitang junk food sa kahit anong namin. Kahit anong sort of aparador namin or ganyan. We're not the type of family of household na maraming chichirya or eat a lot of but of course sometimes yeah, the occasional chicharon, the occasional my point is just it's not with content creation or with whatever you're ingesting to yourself. It's all preferences, whatever floats your boat. But at the end of the day, it's you who have to sort of lock in it. Decision mo yan eh. Kanyari ako, decision ko na makinig sa rap, for example, or music. Music is the best example, but then, if decision ko to kind of love the content, to be proficient at it, like if I if I'm like if I'm the type na who wants to be like the best at something, diba? So, for example, when I'm listening to something or may pinasok akong bagong industriya or bagong product making or bagong sports, for example, I try to be the best at it agad. So I give myself around 6 months to and the purpose of that is para malaman ko yung quality ng contribution ko, diba? Kung di ako masaya within like 6 months, usually within 6 months I kind of quit, or while I'm winning I quit at it. But it's different with the listening industry. I've been doing this for a while now. Like I say, I'm a recording addict talaga. It's really part of my lifestyle to listen a lot and create a lot of content that is audio friendly and amazing. So it's part of my work to paano ba? I guess it's part of my work to be honest about it. Be like be helpful. If you're also recording a lot, if you're also sort of having trouble adjusting to work from home kind of setup, it's nice to have someone who teaches you and guides you about it, and like provides you an avenue, something to na ma-address, diba? Whether it be in games, whether it be in like it's like having your own digital school, diba? Your own digital dojo, a venue where you go in and out. Hi, hello, what's up? I kind of really appreciate you guys being part of this, and like ako walang nagtatanong, pero I'm living a really cool lifestyle these days. The first word that comes into my mind is like hindi mukhang pera. Yun talaga eh, parang hindi mukhang pera. Naalala ko yung yung character kasi sa Cyberpunk, si Nakamura. Nakamura. But yeah, right. Hindi mo ang pera. I'm not seeking anything monetary these days. Not because I feel like I'm rich. It's just that I realize if I seek the monetary reward at a time like this, for example, let's say if I seek to be earning 15% more or 10% more than what I usually earn, I think wala namang value yun wala namang may tutulong yun sa sa being ko, sa well-being ko. And I read about this, diba? I talked about this in the previous podcast. So I'm seeking other things, I'm goal ko to be just healthy and really even regulate, find out find out if I'm healthy or how early I want to work. Mga ganyan, parang inaaral ko lang din yung sarili ko, inaaral ko yung mga podcast. I get more or less new listeners every week now. So hello, if you're new here, welcome again. I'm still doing monologues. I'm really enjoying sort of this bland feeling na sobrang mundane ng buhay. And naalala ko lagi is like, buti na lang nararamdaman ko na to because I didn't grow up having a mundane life. I was a working student. I have I have a diploma, diba, mga ganyan. I dated a couple of girls, you know, was in and out of the club scene kind of thing. I did DJing, diba? I did the band scene. Hosting not as much. Ngayon ko na lang pinasok yung but broadcasting and podcasting, it's different. Podcasts for me is really more of like pirate radio, of kind of like creating your own channel. It's just that the long form kind of thing is the difference. Why am I saying this? Because I'm a lot of things, I guess. Wala pa akong anak though. Wala pa akong but I think I'm sharing this because if I'm being honest, I really feel like I'm not all that successful sometimes, or I'm not all that that like the past me was better than who I am today. And there's a lot of things na nare-recognize ko na sobrang daming bagay na parang pinipilit nilang higupin ka ulit dun sa past na ayaw mo naman. For example, yun nga, yung mga asaran kesyo sa politics, ganyan. The only way that I know to become a successful artist is to be apolitical, to be not affected, to not have your focus, your science, your study be affected by anything that's happening in the world. And you see that in a lot of wisdom books, diba? Parang na huwag kayong magpa-apekto sa nangyayari sa mundo, diba? Because yung nangyayari sa mundo is just part of the illusion, diba? And the more that you play into the illusion, the more that you really are training yourself to be like part of that. And then imbis na ma-share mo yung sarili mong thing, ang nangyayari sa'yo usually is na dadamay mo pa ibang tao. And I've done this on my own, ba? Diba? Parang pag nag-i-inarte ako sa social media before, sometimes, I seep a little too deep into my own fiction, which is why I wrote a book. This is like a pre-production copy that I'm working on right now. Diba? Yung non-fiction ba, diba? Sana pinasok mo na lang din yung non-fiction, diba? Kung ganun na lang naman yung trip mo. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm always talking about now for the Base Tagalog podcast and the Base Tagalog theory of everything. Is just that how sure are we that in this cultural narrative, meron tayong binubuong mas magandang based na trope sa kung ano talaga yung totoo, diba? Kung ano yung totoo ngayon is kung ano yung nakikita natin sa Facebook. Yun na yung totoong thoughts yung unity, yung unitedness ng lahat na, I completely agree with that political mindset, diba? Or I completely agree with that opinion regarding to what is happening in society. These are different things. Simple lang naman talaga sasabi ko, pinapahirap ko lang, pinapaganda ko lang. These are separate things, but whenever I'm reminding us, reminding you that whenever we ang tawag dito is consensus. Wow! Consensus po yung tawag sa ganyan. Whenever we see consensus all around, it's just really, what I mean is like, that's an achievement, one. Oh, definitely an achievement. But also, when you see consensus, it means that it's true. It's true. It's something that is empirical. Yung kahit saan ka pumunta, pwedeng totoo yan. Ganyan, right? So it's just nice, to be reminded of that sometimes. And mahawakan yung ganun, so to speak, and like, di ganun tayo, diba? So, kung comedy is life, or like meta is life, or pera is life, we're not all about I'm not in a position to judge anyone. I'm just in a position to say that these are the words. These are what we call them. This is how we, if we are bored, this is how we philosophize.
Hey guys, this is Rez, the creator of Someday Dream, reminding you that a new Someday Dream music single called Two Lovers is still out on Spotify and other music listening platforms. You could go ahead and share and play that song for your loved ones and friends. Again, thank you for being part of Someday Dream all this time. Happy listening.
Muli na bang napatukso ng matingin sa'yo? Mali na bang mawalay ang mundo sa totoo? Muli nga bang bumabalik pag-ibig na husto? Naghahanap ng oras na mapalapit sa'yo. Huwag nang mag-alala. Hindi na to tungkol sa masaya.
Again, thank you for being part of Someday Dream all this time. Happy listening.
All right, welcome back. Hey, welcome back to the show. Second segment is all about whatever else it is that I haven't talked about. Monologue is very important to me because, I can imagine in the future na mababalikan ko siya and, oh, that's what I've been doing. Diba? Mababalikan ko to in the future and, oh, the future is will be like, ang layo ko na dyan. That makes me feel so much better or ito na tayo now, but then sobrang in the future if I could review it, sometimes I try to, may hinahanap akong mga talinhaga in between sa mga kung ano yung mga ina-address ko. But recently, ang inaaral ko lang naman is paano talunin yung mga Monster Hunter, low-level monster si Ashitaki Meru ba yan? Or Arcosom, something like that. Or the Great Jagi or something like that, mga returning monsters. Or the Royal Ludros. But my favorite is the Rathian. The Rathian is my favorite talaga to fight. Because it's a very simple dragon sort of concept. So I'm there now. To be honest, when I woke up today, I was thinking of this image, this meme, this totally uh, great imagery in my mind that I remember from Rick and Morty, one of my favorite cartoons of all time, yung moon na dilaw, tapos dumating na lang siya bigla sa Earth and then sabi niya, show me what you got. Show me what you got. That's stuck in my head for the longest time and whenever I feel like it's like a loop in my system na whenever I'm super motivated to do something or do more or I want to create more or produce more or work some more, at the critical time, it's like my brain reminds me, hey, I have done all this thinking for you. Now show me what you got. And then, diba, sa episode na yun, I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but then in that cartoon, it hits home, it kind of hits home. And then I've also been watching a lot of Midnight Dinner, which is a Japanese sort of dinner food show kind of I don't know how drama. And some of the episodes hit home as well. So this range of emotionality just reminds me na di naman pala talaga pwede tayong maging laging masaya or laging okay lang, every once in a while may mahahawakan ka or you stumble upon something that pricks you, whether in the brain or in the physical sense. When I was doing my gardening a while ago, yesterday, I think, may nahawakan akong stem. Tapos hindi ko naman, pagkahugot ko, may mga malilit siyang, um, what do you call that? Diba? May mga maliliit na bagay that we miss because of our size, because of kung ano yung nakasanayan natin, kung ano yung talagang uh, yung trip mo or kung ano yung hindi mo pa trip. Um, Pag ganun, wala, sanayan na lang talaga, 'di ba? Or kumbaga habang gumagaling ka lang naman, hindi mo rin alam kasi yung epekto ng impact pag dumating sa ibang tao, especially, kumbaga commentary lang or instructions lang if you're a content producer as well, or if you wanna be if you wanna know how like producers think, or if you're being creative na in your work, and then like maybe in 2 or 3 years you wanna vlog, or you wanna depende sa type of content, or depende sa how kung paano ka kilala ng mga tao. Ako kilala ko bilang suplado, or kilala ko bilang like ex candy cutie, and then like I don't really I work alone, diba? Everybody knows that I work alone. I'm like 25% Chinese. I like science. I like drawing, making plans, and like progressing my own projects and then selling them to people, getting new contracts and learning the ins and outs of certain industries. I'm kind of like that. So sa at least a decade ko na paggawa nun, marami na akong natutunan at marami na akong natulungan. All I'm saying why I'm bringing that up is because that's mine to sort of think of. Kumbaga, sa akin na yun, di ba? Yung kung ano man yung napulot na ibang tao, wala sa akin, from interviewing me or from being able to talk to me, or ma-share ko yung presence or time ko with them, if we carved out time for something, for someone. It's not that I'm saying that I'm that generous. It's just really, I have no control, diba? Wala naman akong control sa kung ano yung makuha nila from that. Kung ano yung makuha ko from, usually naman, it's out of trade of like, I'm not even sure if it's palabra de honor or like, it's just happiness, emotionality, or just a normal, what gets in my head kasi sometimes is like, when I have to remember that, oh shit, that I'm a post celebrity, that I have an image to protect, that the image that I protect is the image that others imposterize. You kinda get my drift if you're listening. Alam mo yun, yung parang image ko yan, tapos yun gusto mo, since yung iba walang image, walang iba yung identity. Their identity is so much based on like an idol, or like a senpai, or like a, di ba dati nauso yung how to be you po, o kaya yung lagi mo ginagaya yung mga BI. Pag marami ka nang naging roles, if you think, for example, that you have played a lot of roles, you have played a lot of archetypes. You could be the fool, the romantic, the wise man. Diba? Pwede ka naman mag-iba-iba. Usually a highly morphable Power Ranger of an artist, right? So, ang nasasabi ko lang is like, ito yung mga basis ko for hesitation, and as much as possible, ayoko mag-hesitate. Gusto ko walang paligoy-ligoy, diba? Sabi kasi nila yung mga ninja, wala yung paligoy-ligoy. Para talaga maging, alam mo yun, para talaga bumilis ka pa or tumulin ka pa, dapat di ka na nagpapaligoy-ligoy sa kung naman yung gusto mong sabihin at pinanggagawa mo. Walang edit button sa pagsasalita. Walang edit button sa pagiging matatas. Diba? Yung edit na yan, unang-una, yung mga nagtatagalog, sabihin ko lang, ang base Tagalog, medyo naiinis sa edit eh. Nakakainis na talaga yung mag-edit eh. Unang-una nakakatamad minsan, i-edit mo pa ba yan? Chong, ang ganda nung stretch eh, ang ganda nung tuloy-tuloy. Ang ganda nung flow. Bakit mo pa i-edit out yung mga ganda or ganda? And sometimes, one of the biggest mistakes that we do is we edit out because of our insecurities. So like, for example, even in the, di ba kunyari, alam mo yun, when you're shooting something, tapos, yung sabi ng director, pangit to, hindi mo to dapat kasali dito or mali yung extra na to, hindi naman dapat yan naka-block or ganyan, something like that. Or like, or you shouldn't have put in this noise or this ganyan yung mag-isip mga creative minds. It's really, when you think about it, if you philosophize it, parang, siya eh, it's a process of identifying sometimes what you're insecure about or what you don't like or what you enjoy or what you're ready to show, for example, or what you're ready to, for example, I can't freaking stay still on a podcast because I really like moving about. I really want having to turn things and like hold things while I'm thinking about stuff. Mag-isa lang naman ako. Usually naman when you talk with someone on Zoom or on Skype or Skype, who uses Skype? Or basta when you're talking to someone, it's not just the expressions in their faces, it's sometimes the pauses. Why am I teaching this? But kids don't know this. Alam mo yun, kids don't know this kasi, diba? Kids don't like, para sa mga pagbasbata ka pa, diba? Yung arte mo lang, sometimes, yung arte mo lang is yung attention span, diba? Yung cut na, sige, cut na. Cut to this, cut to that. So, we're fast losing I think we're fast losing the culture of slow vibe towards something. Sort of long drive-in towards somewhere, Gone are the days na magkakaroon ng 12-hour drive to Baguio, 8-hour drive, 6-hour drive. I think 5 hours na lang yung ngayon. Gone are the days na we appreciate something because it takes a while, and by a while I mean like an hour long. Because nowadays, diba, it's like when I'm hungry and food isn't there, syempre, after 30 minutes or 20 minutes of, not having what I think I need for my system, it's like, man, nakakainis, diba? And instead of magrarat-rat ako sa mga ganong kind of reklamo, I'm always considering the dichotomy, the sides to it, how it shapes me in a way that I have different actions, marami akong options. But out of those 10 options, for example, I will always choose the best 2 or 3 lang. Which, for example, na kunyari, nung nakatira pa ako sa Cubao, if I wanted to eat pizza, then there's this one place that I go to where I just get my pizza box, and then I dig into that for the rest of the day. So that's one out of the 3 choices, and that pattern really drives me for like a 3-week kind of thing. Babaguhin ko na lang depende on how I like it changed, or if I want really subtle. And I guess this is as a way of living life na may lifestyle of a scientific mind. Marami kasi sa atin, yung alam lang natin sa pag-explain ng scientific mind is yung subject nga diba? Yung subject. Science, diba? Subject. But I think a lot of us bilang base Tagalog, we are starting to remember, even in Chinese culture, science is a very tangible thing in a sense na pwede mo siyang hawakan eh. For example, sa example ko na lang, hindi ka naman magiging scientific with vocals, with your voice, or with how you express things if you haven't held on to a mic. If you're not used to holding a mic in front of your face, right? If you're not used to, so ang epekto nun, when we want to express something, or if we want our we want to grab people's attention, if you want someone to appreciate our time, it's sort of like two purpose, 'di ba? Yung okay, yung mic na hawak ko, guys. 'Di ba iba pa nga ginagano nila sa audience, 'di ba? Okay naman. Kayo naman. Mga ganun, oh. Sabay-sabay tayo. Tapos may hawak na mic yung ano, yung leader. Ganun yun, 'di ba? Um it serves two things, you know. One, a symbol of what a crowd will see as like power or something, or ano mo yun, um or a role, 'di ba? Kung ikaw yung may hawak ng mic, or yung mic mo yung naka-on, edi role mo. Trabaho mo magsalita. Some jobs though have the infinite version of that, right? In a way na parang ba explain sa mga bata to, because I'm not really teaching it. I'm really reminding myself, like sa MCU si Thor, 'di ba, yung weapon nung warrior na yon is their role in their own universe. Whereas Thor has Mjolnir, as Captain America has the vibranium shield, right? So you kind of see there kung ano yung role na ng hawak mong tool dun sa papel mo dun sa buhay mo. And cameras, to be honest, cameras, social media, phones, mirrors, and by mirrors, I also mean phones, are fast becoming that for us. If you think about it, that technology has been with us solid for 10 years now, since the beginning of the iPhone age. And we use it, we try to quit it. We use it on a daily basis. We kind of use it minsan sa mga pinsan ko abroad. I think, hindi na sila nag-uusap. Hindi na sila nagtatawagan eh. Hindi na sila nagsisigawan. Hindi na sila sa bahay. Nagte-texta na lang sila, kahit yung kwarto lang naman is like 3 liko lang. Nasa kitchen si mommy, si kuya, nakahiga lang. So, te-text na lang niya. Nangyayari yun, di ba? I don't know if you do that, but I don't know if that's done here, but alam ko in the States they do that. They're like, depende naman sa household, I guess. Or in our case, we have a family sort of channel that, like, I'm not sure if everyone's required to be online or to be notified, but pretty much what I'm talking about, I guess, is like the balance between analog and digital lifestyles. Most likely, again, and if you don't know what analog is, Google mo na lang, diba, in digital, diba? Analog is like in a recording or something. It's like the opposite of digital. Like analog would be like reading a physical book, versus digital would be having a soft copy of it. Diba? This is the progression of my podcast right now, because I recently also realized that out of boredom, we really have to count kung ano ba yung, parang nina-number mo lahat. Parang, okay, ito, priority ko to do this today and this thing soon. It's like doing time on your own sort of prison kind of thing. I don't know if you resonate a lot with this, or if you're not in a state that resonates with that. Pero napapansin ko yan sa pagsasalita ko, na parang I'm really trying to express na, hey, I hope I'm not alone in feeling here na we're doing so much time in like isolation, diba? So much time that we never thought na it would be normal. Even if nakakalabas ka naman talaga, nakapag-mall ka naman talaga, our awareness is really focused, diba? As just aware people, diba? Parang yung iniisip ba natin na our awareness is so And is it just me, or like, are we so are we forced to be experts at being either digitally communicative or just being literally alone, diba? I saw a post from a friend on Facebook, got so much likes for being super honest about loneliness, and I think that person needed some mental health or mental support, or like immediate parang people wanting to care for that person as part of an immediate group. Diba, parang nakakayak naman actually yung tinype niya. Diba, hindi na niya na video eh, diba? Kumbaga ayaw niya pakita eh. Or hindi, wala pa siya doon eh, diba? I don't want that for more people, you know? That's how I feel right now. I don't want that I don't like, actually, this is a message, right? In a bottle. I don't like that people are forced to type things. People are forced to sort of express things via characters that are limited, diba? Or message passing on digital thing, because one, Facebook owns it, diba? It's gonna be mitigated by Facebook. For example, ako when I started posting that the government's TT is small, it's like, I don't know, probably a fan in Facebook or like a moderator, or some sort of AI weird thing just moderates it to like punish you for a bit, 24 hours kang hindi pwedeng maging makulit, mga ganun, grounded ka. Which is why I love that I still get listeners, because even though that I have these dangerous thoughts and you have these dangerous thoughts, we see this everywhere. It's just that if it's me, I'm not in the image, 'di ba? Meron akong past career na pwedeng kailangan protektahan eh. Kasi parang yun ang nasasabi ko, yung identity ko, yun yung ginagaya ng kumbaga, yung identity ko, yun yung inaasahan na identity ng ibang gumagamit ng pangalan ko eh, 'di ba? So yung ibang gumagamit ng pangalan ko, hindi nila basta-basta pinapahawakan yung ganunong klaseng image, because pinagpeperahan nila yan eh, 'di ba? Yun yung nandun yung pera, nandun yung money eh. And so me doing the obvious thing, which is like to laugh about it or to not care as much about it, it's like my thing, obviously my thing, parang ito yung way ko of like, ano mo yun, wala, ang gusto mo gawin ko, diba? Parang, ang gusto mo gawin ko, i-promote kita. Ako nga yung ginagaya mo eh, diba? So, or kaya, dati ako yung ginagaya mo, ngayon nakikinig ka na lang sa akin, or like, or, diba, this whole sort of, where does the merit lie, diba? Bakit ako kailangan makinig sa'yo? And this is just something that I'm trying to explain. Bakit ako kailangan makinig sa'yo kung nauna ako sa'yong gumawa ng mga bagay, diba? Ano yung, kailan nagsimula yun, diba? Yung parang pag nauna ka sa ganito, then it makes you sort of like proud na you decided that like that. I'm at a loss also when I try to explain something like that, because alam niyo naman sa mga Tagalog, ang pinaka-problema, I mean, sa Filipino, ang pinaka-problema is really the rich and poor kind of gap. It's always in our minds, it's always in our DNA, even if we've, regardless of kung ano yung social status natin, yung classes natin, kung elitista ka o hindi, or whatever. O kaya you're just cool, man. You're just squamine AF. And like, you're cool with everyone. You sound like cool. You're just definitely very cool, but then like, aren't you also annoyed sometimes, as sometimes it's almost as if like it's part of our DNA to explore that sort of colonial mentality colonial mentality kind of, diba? Especially nowadays that the Filipino doesn't feel good, diba? And it feels like a pussy to be a Filipino now, right? And when we say it, you kind of have to really look at my face and look at the people. Diba parang, I'm kind of really disappointed with nationality and nationalism. All that talk is like meme land now anyway. So like, I think, not to bring importance to the base Tagalog theory, but then it's just a real thing, It's a real thing people are starting to feel, and we have to inch our way. Diba, unti-untiin natin yan para maabot natin yung saan ba tayo nililid nung ganyang zeitgeist, nung ganyang spirit of the times, diba? I think that's what's really important here.
Hey guys, this is Rez. I want to invite you formally to a group. It's called Rezbt-S Podcast Hub. Search for it on Facebook and join anytime.
In the town where I was born, the time is slow and the government is filthy. And the people's sense of music sucked. It's because they thought what other people did was always better and healthy. They never really cared much for what was new and what was savvy. They only tried to love what they themselves can copy.
Welcome back to the show. You're still listening to my voice. My name is Rez Toledo, and this is the Rezbt-S Podcast, where we try to talk a lot about intellectual stuff, mindsets, for example, what not to say, what to say, how to say it, and how to be creative, how to maintain your motivation, how to have an inner voice that works. Because it's something that I've done as an individual, and I want to just spread that out, sort of spread my wings into making everyone who's listening to this or into this type of content feel that for themselves. I am in my studio, and in I think the previous segments of this podcast, kung ano na nang pinag-usapan ko, obviously. Because this is this is what's in the rush of my brain right now. Show me what you got, Show me what you got. It's really something that I really wanna exacerbate, or like yung gusto kong laging naririnig ko. You seldom see this. We seldom experience this na because wala na tayo sa high school. There's no role model there's no role, wala nang tao na yung trabaho niya is to be the motivator, diba? Ako hindi naman ako ganito usually. I'm just really like, nagpapakakwela lang ako. I'm trying to grow my podcast. I'm trying to really practice my thought and be able to record, diba? The cleanest of my thoughts, and like at least have some good hair looking when I'm doing that, or para bang yung feeling lang na malit na feeling lang na taking a podcast now is my equivalent to having a lifestyle of being recorded into a bigger version of an album. Okay, what I mean by that is, diba, when Einstein died, they literally, ang alam ko, they cut up his brain. Kasi si Einstein bago pa siya mamatay, dinonate nata niya yung brain niya sa science community. So, ang alam ko, Einstein, I'm not sure if this is fiction or I've read, but I literally have read about this or heard this somewhere. His brain was cut up. This is even true? But like, the point is, 30 years after now, we are being more conscious. We are being more effective lang with the way we see we can contribute with our being smart. Kung matalino ka, feeling matalino ka, or magaling ka, meron ka mga talento, or part ka ng society, social media model, it's like, let's get down to business, let's do stuff, But alam mo yun, the dichotomy to that is I can't really be like that though, because I'm still doing my monologic series, and there's still something more that I could talk about. And even though ayaw niya lumabas sa podcast na to, because the new things are like, there's a new ring light, there's a new setting on the mic. All these things are confusing me, and all these things are like, I'm still getting used to the new style. Like I said, I enjoy it. I'm really trying to enjoy it more than like having to bago ko isipin na ano ba yung, hindi man kasi ako ganun eh. Hindi naman ako yung parang, kasabihin ko to para makapag-trigger ako ng mga tao, or ganito yung script ko ngayon para makiging part ako ng ganitong tema. Sometimes like fun is just like being mundane as fuck, and like being like not normal. I don't like using the word normal now, but mundane is yung talagang, wala eh. Alam mo, wala tayong magagawa. Di chill tayong lahat, diba? I think last time pumunta ako sa labas, it's almost like lahat ng lalaki na mga katabi ko, parang wala eh. Wala, parang everyone's saying, wala eh. Wala talaga. Wala naman talaga eh. That's the truth, man. It's all zero. Like, anong gusto mo pag-usapan? Wala naman tayong, diba, wala nang pag-uusapan. It's just, everyone's like, wala bro, wala talaga, man. As in, everyone has not everyone, but like, we all have our jobs, we all have our roles. Sometimes you kind of feel like, okay, we're not even depressed anymore, walang bagong uso, kung ano yung uso last year, yung pa rin daw yung ngayon. So, progress is shy. Progress is shy sometimes to people who don't deserve progress. People who don't plan for progress, to plan yung mga taong walang goal sa buhay. I don't mean to say that to hurt someone or anything. It's just really the importance lang of like, importante yan eh. Like, di ka naman pupunta sa isang lugar, di ka naman pupunta sa isang relasyon, for example. Di ka papasok ng isang relasyon kung wala ka namang goal. Kunyari yung goal mo is parang parehas kayo ng damit, eventually magsi-selfie kayo sa luneta or like magbi-beach kayo, tapos you kinda eventually get her to wear your favorite color of a bikini. Is it one piece? Is it two piece? Is it like, tapos kung sa babae naman, I figure yung mga babae, they just really want to be part of the ecosystem of a man, because a man creates the dig, creates that sort of harvesting process where like all of these sort of things bigla na lang they pop out of nowhere, and next thing you know, you're kind of rich but you still have a lot of work to do. That's a great thing. That's a great way to be. Sometimes a lot of women naman, they just get locked into this evil of like having to deal with breakup, heartbreak, being single, and like if you're insecure about your virginity, for example, if you're a teenager deep inside, diba, parang you're kind of like in defense about that. Or like ako, for example, when I figured out what an incel means, or like an incel is, kind of got me excited and also feeling for that incel culture, because it's a lot of things. Feelings are a lot of things for teenagers, man, and feelings and sound are like kind of not the same. But if you can be part of that, it's like it's like there's current to do in there. It's like kung gusto mo talaga magpalito dyan sa mga ganyan na bagay, it's like madali naman yan sa amin, chong. Madali. TSONG, diba? TSONG, it's not CH. Madali naman yan, bro. Diba? Madali naman yung lahat ng tipong arte na napanood na natin sa ABS-CBN, or lahat ng klaseng mga bagay na nakikita natin ginagawa na lang libre ng mga artista sa Facebook, YouTube, mga anak ng mga dating natanggal sa network, gusto pa rin mag-artista. Sige, wala pa kayo, diba? Parang mag-TikTok kayo. Sige, umarte kayo dyan. All I'm saying is everyone's free to do anything they like, and all in the light of creativity or something ganyan. Bahala kayo pag you get your own, 15 minutes or 15 seconds of fame. I remember a friend of mine, sabi niya sa akin before, yung linya ba na alam mo naman ako, 2 tao lang yung mag-comment or 2 tao lang yung mag-like, sobrang affirming na yun for her. That's nice to know because yeah, you know, that's called lowering your expectations, lowering your, di ba, hindi naman pwedeng araw-araw ka na lang GGSS sa sarili mo or yung boyfriend mo mas GGSS pa sa'yo. Napakamalaking nun, di ba, blunder nun sa sa buhay mo, I guess. Kung like, I don't feel pretty every day, di ba? I don't feel if you're a girl. I don't of course, I've had lovers and I've had sort of experiences, and like this is something that the guy needs to know when you're growing as a man. It's not like all the girls are all that pretty all the time. It's what they post of themselves is the best 10-20% of their feeling, and that's still based on emotion, diba? They're not. No one is like logically or naturally smart or logically made to become beautiful. No one has the. I don't think that anyone has the propensity nowadays na okay yung by the third generation yung anak ni ganito or ganito ng itsura, alam mo yun, because I've been recently thinking of this between Japanese and English people. And when I started figuring out that historically merong may animosity between Europeans and I think 16th century to 17th century Japanese, which is why yung story arc ng, for example, OG anime such as Samurai X, sa third season nun, it's like a battle between old samurai and new Christians of that time, right? So having figured out that animosity between that, ang inisip ko is like, oh damn, we're some. So ibig sabihin ba nun yung mga unang-unang sinaunang weeaboo na European, gusto nila, pinlano ba nila na magkaroon ng ganitong itsura na Hapon? And when you realize a half na Hapon, na half European, half Japanese still looks Japanese, right? Of what we know now, like 300 years after. Diba? And even in their culture, when you get blonde anime girls or like, it's like, it's really how they think, or how they create their image of their culture, of their art, which is what we don't have, right? We all have like our system, our culture is, I think, mostly based on sound, mostly based on emotional peaks, which is also sound, which is also sort of sound-based or music-based. Kaya nga, sinasabi ko lagi, wala naman tayong, classical, and I'm sorry if I'm going really fast here with my logic, right? But coming from that, like balikan ko na lang yung Japanese, Euro, kumbaga yung Eurasian thing, Eurasian. Balikan ko na lang yun. But coming from that Eurasian commentary, when we compare our first world sort of, kumbaga hinaing natin ng mga first world hinaing natin, with that when you cross compare that with the Eurasian reality, it's like sa Pilipinas naman, yung mga Filipinos naman, unang-una hindi naman, alam mo yun, we always draw poorly and of poor stuff, and we haven't figured out kumbaga a combined unified identity of how to do new things that will identify us from everyone else, right? Identify us from everyone else visually, because I can see this dun sa kapatid ng visuals, which is sound, yung science natin of sound, of how we are so affected by sound weapons, psych war, bullying, publishing, how we think leaders speak and sound, and if a leader is quoted to be saying this, then this is how they must sound, because they always use the PI, they always use the curse words, and me saying that our culture is music, highly music based and highly imagined as a musical thing, is because once you really study our history and where we come from, it's really like all we can hold on to is language of katutubo, traditional, mga orally sort of passed down knowledge and ways of speaking, pagsasalita, yung mga kwento, yung mga datingan ng kwento, yung mga patawa, comedy, arts, basta anything that is vocal, that is passed between brothers, sisters, lolo, lola. Alam mo yun, yung mga ganyan bang mga pare-pares na story, it gets us sometimes a little bit dark when it goes to the tema ng mga Hapon. When it goes to tema ng Chinese, it's just like a lot of like anything and everything. What I'm saying now is like, don't you think, and because I do think that it's all the more why we should realize we should be working on the sound industry more often and philosophizing that kind of core or philosophizing or affecting, even if you want to be have that social engineer banat type, diba, affecting that sort of core in terms of ano nga eh, of knowing nga in fact kasi na oo nga no, everything is almost based on sound. That if I peak here, if I sound really, alam mo yun, magwala ako sa mic. Or like, i-arte ko yung kung ano kung, alam mo yun, like, alam mo yun, kung buhay pa si Chester Bennington, man, kung ganun, kung may mga rock stars tayo na ganun yung boses, di ba? Or ganun umarte, or, you know, like, it's, everything is like, you know, the imagined version of the result of a sound. And exactly why I say that we don't even have a real classical, you know, Filipino basis of like, it's like our culture now jumped from like rural shit, festive stuff, which are some of them are 80% fake, by the way, jump to that to like neoclassical stuff, which is like shoegaze, postmodern music affected by indie. Wala masyado nagpa-piano dito. Asa ka, boy. Sumikat ka magpiano dito. Eh, sikat pa si Rico Blanco, diba? Diba? My point is, and then Ryan Cabiab is still there. These guys who are like known to be pianists or like known to be composers on the good with the keyboard kind of thing. It's really a very new thing that we're realizing, and despite that, ang pinaka-successful pa rin talaga is, you know, people yung barkada ng mga ano yun? Red Horse, Music Laban, rock guys, mga kuya-kuya na rockista talaga, because if you just see them, they're just doing their thing now. You know, they're just in this really great problem na sobrang dami talaga nilang fans eh, na nakakapag-resonate sa kanila yung masa. But you can't say na yun yung pinaka core, diba? You can't say na yun yung, diba, parang you can't cancel them out. Sorry, that's what I really mean. You can't cancel the achievements of these guys, because what I'm realizing, or what we're realizing all the more recently, is that rock is the classical music of the Filipino culture. And that all the more points to this metal and wood and clanky and sort of texture, na yun na yung kultura natin, yung texture na yun yung kultura natin, diba? It's really based on that. I don't know how much that makes sense in terms of formulating a base Tagalog theory of everything, but because saying that the base Tagalog theory of everything would ultimately would inevitably become music based, I think, you know, music and having sort of a musicology angle is always important, Jan. And to be honest, I've only had success with a lot of my thought publishing, my bubbles, whenever I use or don't comply or just really controversialize or complain about the term OPM. Na ayoko naman, because plainly the term OPM doesn't refer to anything. Wala namang original Pilipino diba? That doesn't exist. And yung pinaka main argument yan, ba't ka gagawa ng OP tapos magko-cover ka naman tapos tatawagin mong OP, diba? So parang it's the process of that, the marketing of that is really weird and damaged for me already, especially in this time. But I like that discussion, I like having to think of those things, because without that, I wouldn't have a say in what I'm basing my theories on. If I even say that it's music based, then I should at least have an opinion of music, diba? Mahirap na yan ngayon kasi nga mga tao ngayon ay na huhumaling dun sa parang marketing ng tutaism ng COVID. So 2 or 3 more years of that, I pagpatuloy nyo yan, para 2 or 3, 4 years of now, all your children, all the young people, all the aware sort of thinkers, wala silang maaalala, diba? You're totally ethnically cleansing them of their roots, of their what they knew as cultural, what they knew as correct and true. Because puro na lang marketing ng COVID, which is a big problem. And the biggest problem there is hindi umaamin yung mga, sino man umamin na it's all freaking based reality that we are experiencing now. Na pag sinipon ka, ibig sabihin nito ay pwede kang either asymptomatic or carrier ka ng tinatawag na new strain ng corona at novelties, and like ang sasabi lang nito ay para sa buhay nating lahat is like meron pang mas maraming bagong bagay na may experience natin at marami pa tayong mas discover. Pwede mong ma-discover na magaling ka pala magbenta, magaling ka pala mambarat, magaling ka pala sa kung ano ng mga bagay. I don't know how all of that stuff fits in, but if you took in this podcast fully, I really appreciate you for doing that, and I really appreciate you for staying with me in this podcast. Thank you so much to the listeners. I love you guys. I really do, for helping me become who I am now, which is just also a version of me, or helping me remember how I used to be. Just feeling alive right now, just being able to share that with the listener or anyone at the end of this mic, communicating in a silent way, or commenting, or liking this, or sharing this a lot, or being part of the groups, or ganyan, or just making sure that, parang, okay, this, for making my content valuable to you, to a listener, for understanding me despite my difficulties in creating my theory and thinking this way, and being passionate, and alam mo yun, ito yung libog ko ito yung ganito talaga ako magsalita, and even a lot of people grew up with me being like this. So if it's your time to shine, I guess your time to shine, if you're the listener, it's your time to shine. Don't let someone like me sort of confuse you into thinking that you don't have the power, or you don't have the freedom to do anything that you like, because it only will delay you kung lagi kang nag-hesitate. So no hesitation, no fear, no shame. That's sort of my contribution for this monologue. My name is Rez. You're listening to the Rezbt-S Podcast. That's all there is for tonight, for today. I'll see you guys on the next episode. The podcast runs every Thursdays and Sundays, and I really do appreciate people who have been communicating with me, and please do hold on with whatever you can. Because, there are more important things. There are always more important things that are unseen, untalked about, and unaddressed. And if it's natural for you na gumawa ka na may gawin ka patungkol sa mga bagay na yun na iniisip mo, gawin mo natin. Alright, peace. Bye guys. See you.